city, there's a lot of chaos going on, and gardening brings a lot of peace in our lives. And if we are able to, grow some edible things like vegetables, which we can also use, and in times when the city is all shut, we can really share the joy and feel the joy of eating from our own garden. Seed bombs is a part of guerrilla gardening. Guerrilla gardening was started in 1973 in New York, in an area called Bowery, by an artist called Liz Christie. And she started gardening in an empty plot and mobilized other people to work on the same plot, and then the city government allowed them to use the plot, and then eventually that plot was gardened so well that it was converted into a park. You can also say that guerrilla gardening dates back to the hippie time period, which is the 1960s, where people would be just living in communal living and growing their own things. Guerrilla gardening really took root when a person called Richard Reynolds in England, he made his blog on guerrilla gardening. He came from an area where he would live, he was living with his parents in large houses, and finally when he moved to London, he had no place for gardening. So he started guerrilla gardening, like right in front of his house on the empty island, which we call. And then he wrote a book about guerrilla gardening in 2008. Today we are here to learn how to make the seed bombs. We all know that all of you, that when you garden, you just tell your Mali to plant this and that, or this and that, and how to do it. And you also have beautiful gardens where you get prizes as well. But how to do it hands-on? When we make our houses so beautiful, our gardens so beautiful, we would also like to see our environment, our neighborhood beautiful. For the guerrilla gardener, seed bomb was a weapon of choice. Take clay, take compost, add a few seeds, make it into a ball, like a small golf ball, and let it dry a few days. And whenever you want, you can either exchange it, gift it, or plant it yourself. So that's how you use the seed box. I have with me here compost, which I've made myself, some clay, and plenty of seeds. So you want to make these seed balls out of seeds which are very hardy, which can stay outside without water for a long time till the moisture gets to the seed. So the very soft vegetables like the spinach and tomatoes and other soft coriander type, they are not going to work. Seeds should be hardy like corn, beans, and maybe watermelon, any kind of melon. In the US also it's called the three sisters, these three seeds. Bean, squash could be turai or lauki, and corn. So the corn grows high, the watermelon or squash just goes like that, and when you plant the peas, the beans, it climbs up the stalk of the corn. I think we can adapt all that to our liking because everyone has a garden here, everyone has resources. You can make the seeds, and that will be your contribution in sharing it with your neighbors, with your family, with your friends, and also just whenever you're driving past and see a plot, you can just throw a few seed bombs, especially before the monsoon seasons. So as soon as the first rains come, it'll take root and hope for the best. This is clay. And this is compost, half. This is compost. You can smell it, you can feel it, it's so dry. This is my own homemade compost. You can smell it and it smells very sweet, and it's called the black gold. Mix it like this, and you could experiment and make it into as per your liking, because you eventually want to make seed balls. So there should be no stones in the soil. There should be no large sticks like these. and just moisten it with water. What you do is take a handful of this in your hand and add at least 3 seeds, 3 kinds of seeds. So we put a few seeds. While making, the seeds could fall, but you can just add them again. Another trick which I've learned is take a newspaper like this. If you think that this is not making into a ball, just take this big, because I've made a very small ball. You just wet it like this. Put your seed ball here and just wrap it. This way the ball would hold and it will make a soft crust, and it will dry and won't, crumble. So this is another way which I've learned to make it, especially when you need to dry them. You see how nicely the ball is formed? It's not difficult. You have to get your hands dirty and just keep on making the balls till you can. I use this to put the balls here and leave it to dry. Not in the sun, in the shade, but outside. They dry and they become hard balls. So if you can just gift them to people or go outside and plant them, so this will take root. And pray that it rains.
चल अब इसको आप गीला करें। अच्छा नहीं वो आप करें बस नहीं वो आइए इसका नहीं कह रहे ओके प्लीज आप जल्दी जल्दी मूव करेंगी बीच डाल के बाकी गोला वोला दूर बना वहाँ बैठे देखिए न्यूज़पेपर देखिए ये गोला एंड डू इट how we put the I in fact got introduced to Sabiha Omar's seed bombs through the Facebook, and I thought I'll get hold of her, and then I knew her otherwise also, and we invited her for our club's monthly meeting. I thought seed bomb was a good idea. It is not a very common idea amongst our members, so I wanted to introduce it to our members and to show them how to make it. And since the monsoons are coming up, it is, I think, a brilliant idea to use with all the arid areas that we have around town. So today Sabiha Omar talked about seed bombs, made our members understand what seed bomb was, what kind of seeds to be used in making seed bombs, and how to make them. So our members, I think, were totally overjoyed by the whole thing, and they did some hands-on making of the seed bombs.